Hey, what's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review, this time for the 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, if you guys aren't aware, this movie is a direct sequel off the 1974 The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so make sure you guys are on board and have seen the original, which I did catch just recently a couple of days ago for the first time. And I know what you guys are thinking, how the hell have you not caught something so iconic? I know, I broke the cardinal sin of horror watching. Please forgive me. But before we do get into it, guys, if you like content like this, let me know by liking the video and consider subscribing today to join the Flix Talk family, as I do drop reactionary content, movie reviews, and so much more on this channel. Alright guys, now if you have not seen the trailer, let me break it down, the synopsis for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After nearly 50 years of hiding, Leatherface returns to terrorize a group of idealistic young friends who accidentally disrupt his carefully shielded world in a remote Texas town. Now, this film is directed by newcomer David Blue Garcia. I didn't know anything about his work, so I looked him up on IMDb, and he only has one film previous this one. So this will be kind of his introduction to everyone, as well as myself, on what this young filmmaker has to bring to the table. But I thought it was awesome that he got to tag team this film with the horror juggernaut. Yes, I did. I'm giving him a lot of praise. We do have a story by Fede Álvarez. Now, if you guys can tell, I am a Fede Álvarez fan. I did love what he did with Evil Dead 2013, a beloved franchise amongst millions and millions of people, so much that it did spark a TV series, as well as what he did with Don't Breathe. I absolutely love that movie. So I'd be lying if I said that that was not a selling point for me wanting to check this film out. Now, another selling point, and probably the main selling point why you are checking out this film, is Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right guys? I think a lot of us that grew up with cult classic slasher cinema hold Leatherface up there synonymous with names like Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Charles Lee Ray, aka Chucky, Michael Myers, and that's a tough thing to say, especially since he's not really put out there in the rockstar public eye like they've been doing with all those other slashers that I just named. So once this property was being announced and brought to light, I was a little questionable, to say the least. My first initial thoughts were, how would a modern audience even care about a Leatherface almost 50 years after the fact? Because yeah, once again, they're doing what Blumhouse did with the Michael Myers franchise of Halloween, and they're disregarding all of the sequels in between. A couple of them that I did catch and I was not fond of. So it's become a very, very popular thing once again to tie in a direct sequel off the original, but there's that time gap, so much time away from these characters. And once again, how do we disregard all of those movies that most of us grew up with? This is gonna be one of those films, guys, where if you're a die-hard fan, you're either gonna absolutely love it or you're gonna hate it. And I think if you are a diehard, it might be the latter. So let's just get into this review, some of my likes and my dislikes for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. I'm just gonna call it 2022 because with the name so damn similar, just missing one damn word, I'm gonna confuse myself throughout this review, I just know it. And if you guys are new here to the channel, don't worry, all of my reviews are completely spoiler-free unless otherwise noted in the title. Alright guys, now one thing I absolutely loved about this film is that the runtime is only 1 hour and 23 minutes. And a lot of you guys may be thinking, why does he like that? I think once we get rolling with what this movie is actually about, I really enjoyed how quick we were just thrown into things. We don't get too much character development. Yeah, we dive into a little bit of character past, and that's fine, because I will say this, a lot of these characters are very, very throwaway. And that's not to say that their acting was bad whatsoever, it's just that there was no motivation for me even caring about them at any time in this film. If you guys have not checked out the trailer, it's all laid out there, so what I'm about to say is not spoilers whatsoever. But this group of young individuals does visit Harlow in Texas to pretty much gentrify it and make it the new young hip place to be, which in theory is not too dumb of an idea or even far-fetched, because gentrification has been happening for so long. They come in, they take a rundown area, they make it nice and hip and throw a Starbucks on every damn corner and drive the property value up, and boom, there you go, gentrification. So essentially that's what the these young kids are there to do. Our main characters of Melody and Dante are these chefs, or some people that do have a business together. They are collabing on something, and they're presenting this town venture to their peers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where the hell is Leatherface? Why do I care about these kids wanting to gentrify this town? I'm right there with you. You shouldn't. There's no means for them to even be showing any of this stuff there. It's just an easy way to place them in the hands of Leatherface. That's exactly what it's for, and why it's laid out to us so eloquently on a hot dish. So once I realized that all of this cast involved in this movie is just cattle, meat puppets for Leatherface to mow down, I didn't think about it too much. I think if you go in this really trying to dissect or try to figure out why they're being so woke and progressive and Gen Z and this and that, you're not gonna have fun with this movie whatsoever. I definitely put my mindset of when I was watching the 2003 Jessica Biel Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. You remember how clunky and dumb those characters were? But at the time, if you watched that when you were in high school, you had a great, brutal, bloody time with that film. And that's exactly what I felt after watching this film. Now, the only real character development that we did get, and it was a little bit emotional, was Lila. And that was played by Elsie Fisher, who I think most of you guys remember in the awesome A24 film 8th Grade. If you guys have not caught it, definitely check it out. Her performance was amazing in that. She does play the younger sister to Melody, played by Sarah Yarkin, and they were probably the only two faces on screen that I felt had emotional depth throughout this whole horrific journey they went through. Now, just as I stated in the quick synopsis, guys, yeah, they disrupt where Leatherface is kind of hiding. So let's just get into the character of Leatherface and if I liked him or not, played by Mark Burnham. Now, I don't ever remember if they do mention Leatherface's age back in the 1974 classic, but he was big and stocky, and even though he had an actual face mask on, yes, face mask, it was someone else's face on his face. Yeah, I know it's redundant, but it's literally what it was. I would put him anywhere in the 20 to 25 age range. I really couldn't tell. So that plus nearly 50 years, we're looking at a damn near 75-year-old Leatherface. And I will say, when we're finally introduced to Leatherface, he does not look 75 years old. He looks way younger. I'm talking about mid 60s, if not early 60s, which is totally fine, but it does not follow the continuity of the original whatsoever. I think you would have been better off doing a soft reboot than connecting the two. I mean, yeah, it's awesome for the diehard fans, but wielding a chainsaw at 75 years old? Come on, man. But I will say, once we did see Leatherface and all of his brutal kills along the way, I was like, woo-wee. This was the saving grace of the film. And I think this is really going to appease to the gorehounds. And that kind of goes back to what I said. Either you're going to love this film or you're really going to hate it. I think if you're a diehard fan of the original film, guys, or even the sequels that came after it, whether they connect or not, I think these kills have to be the coolest, the most brutal, and it definitely reminded me of a Rob Zombie film at times. I'm not saying he's a great director by any means. I liked a couple of his films, but a majority of them were not really hitting for me. But what he did with Michael Myers for his Halloween franchise is definitely what we got for Leatherface in this modern sequel. Now, a cool tie-in for all of you hardcore fans, once again, is the return of Sally, this time played by Aulin Foyer, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is the girl that got away from Leatherface. Oh, she stole his heart. He tried to steal hers, and she was our iconic final girl. Now, she does return, and this is where I get kind of, I don't know if I like what they did here or not, but it's definitely very trendy, and it's hard not to think that this is not trendy, especially coming off the Blumhouse sequels that are coming off the Halloween franchise, guys. 2018 with the return of Jamie Lee Curtis. Now we got the return of Sally. So our final girl coming back to finish the job, and it's exactly like the Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween 2018. So not too clever. Once again, her motivation is just there to get revenge after Leatherface just mowed down all of her friends back in the 70s. But I keep going back to these kills. I mean, the first kill that was shown, I won't say what it was, but it was damn brutal, unique, and awesome. Now, you can't have a horror movie without some cool horror score, and we got a lot of intense and spine-tingling music. Whoa. When the score needed to be present, it really was. And I had my surround sound blasting and it just amped up the scene so much more. But I can't kiss this movie's ass too much because guess what? It was pretty predictable. I will say that. It was very, very predictable at times. I called it sitting on the couch watching it with Laura, and I'm like, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that might happen. And guess what? It all happened. And if a dummy like me can predict your movie, horror movie or not, cliche or not, you gotta get back to the drawing board. Come on, Fede, what you doing? What you doing, Fede? But once again, I was there for some mindless fun and brutal kills along the way, and I got all of that. But yeah, David, you had fun with the kills. I mean, doesn't that mean it's a cool movie? No, because I was still left with a bunch of unanswered questions. Even as someone that's not a big Leatherface fan, there was a lot of plot holes in this film. And I'm like, oh, are we gonna have to wait another 50 years to find out what the hell's really going on? Probably not. I mean, by then it'd be Leatherface in space, Jason X style. So I don't want to make this too damn long, guys. I know you're like, what is going on with this review? You're all over the place. Yeah. So long story short, here's what I say about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. I think if you're looking for a fun time with some friends, especially with friends, or at least +1, you're gonna have a good time, especially the horror fans. You're gonna have a good time. And I think if you're a diehard Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, you're gonna enjoy the kills along the way, but you're gonna have so many unanswered questions that you guys are gonna be nitpicking at throughout the whole movie, and just stop. This movie probably ain't for you. And that being said, I think I'm gonna give Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 a solid 3 out of 5. Alright guys, are you checking out Texas Chainsaw Massacre this weekend? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you guys did appreciate mine, let me know by liking the video and make sure to subscribe today for more content like this. Alright guys, till next video, I'm gone. Peace.